Look, I get it. I understand that it's hard on the internet. You have to put out articles all the time. You gotta constantly be writing shit. You gotta look at every little fucking thing that anybody does on Twitter and you gotta write about it because it's more relevant than actual journalism to the masses. However, I would propose that instead of trying to appeal to the masses in the first place, you just write journalistic pieces and write them for people who give a shit and make them good. Because it's the only way it's going to have any value at all. Nobody cares about bullshit clickbait articles. I'm way ahead of myself, though. So I was going to make a vlog about how the St. Louis Arch is like Marvel's Infinity War, or vice versa. I was just thinking about the St. Louis Arch and how it's like the ultimate symbol of American exceptionalism. Like, this is the world's biggest arch, and it's because no one else has ever made an attempt to make the world's biggest arch. If you look at the Wikipedia page of arches, where it's just got like a list of all the famous arches, and you can see pictures of all of them, and they're all like on famous buildings, or they're famous bridges, or they are natural formations. There's only one gigantic fucking arch, and it was built in the early 60s when America was just trying to have the biggest everything. There's no art to it. It's not like... There's nothing special about it. There's nothing surrounding it that makes it, like, good. It's just the biggest arch. That's all they were trying to do. And I was thinking about this whole idea of Marvel Infinity War as the greatest, biggest crossover event in history, which is the meme. And let us be very clear, it's a meme. that Marvel is the biggest, that Infinity War is the biggest crossover event in history, and everybody contests that by posting images of other crossover events that are even bigger. That's the Twitter meme, like, or not even necessarily bigger, just, ones that are more ambitious, and the joke is that they're not even necessarily more ambitious. You're watching the meme review now with Digi Bro Tano here. So anyways, the St. Louis Arch is like Infinity War in that it's just an attempt to build the biggest thing, is how I thought of it. Like, this is probably the highest budget, widest release, most, celebrities in one place, most computer graphics, probably going to be 3 hours long, maybe 4 hours long, who knows. It's called Infinity War. It could literally go on for the rest of our lives. I have no idea. The point is that it's going to be the biggest movie of all time, but what is the artistic value of the film? We already know what's going to happen. A bunch of superheroes are going to fight a bunch of supervillains. Any possible interpersonal conflict the heroes might have has already been explored at this point. Like, I don't know how they could possibly create a mainstream film and have a new idea in it at the same time within the constraints of what they can do with the Marvel formula. Like, I don't think this movie can possibly have anything to it other than being the biggest movie. And that's just like this fucking arch. There's really nothing to it. You go to it because you want to see the biggest arch. That's the only reason it's a tourist attraction at all. But anyways, I was thinking about this, and I wanted to make this little vlog about it. And then I thought, where is actually the source of that quote? Like, is that something Marvel themselves said? Because if it is something that they said, then this is a very, elegant comparison, because it's like, if Marvel was marketing their own movie by saying it was the biggest crossover event in history, then, that would be something. I had never seen any source of that quote, though. All I ever saw was people posting the memes, so I decided to do a little bit of research. So I went to Know Your Meme. Let's read the origin section. On March 19th, 2018, Twitter user the Bob Palmer tweeted, "Marvel Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event in history. Me," and then a photograph of the crossover film of the Disney television show That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, entitled That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. The post received 77,000 retweets, and that's why it spread. There was no source quote. It's just a joke this guy made up. He just thought it would be funny if Marvel said that, and he responded with this. But Marvel didn't actually say that. Now, how many people reposting this meme are aware of this fact? God knows. I would actually probably surmise that most people probably think it's a real quote from Marvel, which is why they think the meme is so funny, because they think that they're sticking it to Marvel by participating in this meme. Now, while it's very easy to see that as an endearing narrative and to report on it, like Twitter users stick it to Marvel because that's obviously what a lot of them think they're doing, it's not reality, because Marvel didn't say that, so no one's sticking it to anybody. It's just a joke that's perpetuated on Twitter, whether everybody participating truly realizes that or not. Whether whatever their intentions are, this way or that, if they are intending to attack Marvel in some way by doing this, they are failing because Marvel did not say this. So that's the conclusion you can come to with literally 20 seconds of research. I just typed, like, know your meme, and then the name of the meme, or like a vague description of the meme, and I got to the Know Your Meme page, where I was quickly shown, and not to say that Know Your Meme is, like, the most journalistic, like, I mean, I could go deeper than this, but I did. I couldn't find any source for this quote, because it's not a quote from Marvel. So, but there's tons of articles written about this meme. When I searched the meme itself, all I got was articles about the meme. I got tons of reporting on the meme. Now let's see how each of these reporters characterized this meme, because we can really get a sense of which news sites are willing to put in a little bit more effort and which news sites don't give a single fuck to even attempt to research the things that they talk about. So first of all, let's talk about the way that these sites market themselves. The first few results are all just titles of articles that trail off with a ... at the end. I don't know if you can actually see this. I'm going to try to zoom in on it. But the first few posts I'll trail off with just a title. However, when you get down to results 5 and 6, Polygon and Nerdist, they have the name of the website at the end. They make sure that they format their site in a way that the name of the site will appear in the Google search. And this is important because you know those names, and you know those are supposed to be news sites. I don't know what these other sites are because it's just a random link that I don't know anything about. And I don't read, news websites that write bullshit clickbait articles. But which is what all of these are, make no mistake. However, some are just a little better than others. The Polygon one was the first one I clicked on because I was just drawn to, I saw the name, I recognized the name, I thought, this is an article that maybe will tell me something about this meme. Here's what I got. Marvel's Infinity War is not the biggest crossover in history. Far from it. By Ben Kuchera. Ben writes, Marvel's Infinity War brings together the heroes of just about every movie the company has released to date, which is why it's being billed as the biggest and the most ambitious crossover event in history. Twitter is not putting up with that obvious marketing fluff and is responding by pointing out even better crossovers from pop culture history, and it is glorious. So this article seems to be under the presumption that the quote is from Marvel. Now, he never outright says this. He never actually just commits to, so he probably couldn't find a source, but just believed it was true. So instead of saying Marvel said this, he just called it marketing. He just said oh, this is obviously a marketing tactic that Twitter's not falling for, even though there is no evidence that it is marketing on Marvel's part whatsoever. He then goes on to just steal a bunch of Twitter's memes. He just and just put his little, I don't know, is this considered commentary? Is this how he gets away with this being fair use? Is that after posting someone else's tweet, he just says, who can quibble with these counter arguments? The world is filled with bigger crossovers, and cinematic universes often collide. He's acting as though he's weaving this into the article, but it's just other people's jokes and tweets wholesale posted in here. Now, at the very least, there is, he sourced the tweets, so you can still, go to the tweets. You could call this promotion on some level, I suppose. No one's going to read it that way. No one's going to click through this. If you were to call this promotion, you would be being a shady asshole in doing so. Obviously, this is not the intention of the article. The intention here is to use other people's content to create your own nontent. Here's the top 5 for those of you who don't spend all day on Twitter just like going to the hashtag and seeing hundreds of these, or just, follow your own friends on Twitter who are probably doing the meme themselves about shit that's actually relevant to you. Nerdist is the second one that has a name attached to it, so let's go over there. Twitter picks crossover events even more ambitious than Avengers Infinity War by Kendall Ashley. The trailers for Avengers Infinity War got all of us so incredibly hyped. It's the biggest collaboration of Marvel heroes that we've seen to date, and it's going to be a huge event. In fact, many have called it the most ambitious crossover event of all time. So many have called it, is what we're going with in this article. Many have called it. Yes, many have called it that in this meme, making fun of the idea that it was ever called that, which it wasn't by anybody. Nobody has called it that. So this is facetious. It's not as bad as the one that attributed it to Marvel, but it is still not true. It is not a true statement to say that anybody has called it that, because nobody has. It then goes on to, once again, post a bunch of tweets. This one makes even less of an attempt to fill the interim with text, but there is some attempt in there. But this one steals a whole lot of tweets. So it's, at the very least, you'll get more depth out of the joke reading this one, I suppose, even though, these are shit crossover examples. Alright, let's look at some website that actually does this semi-okay. I mean, this is still an F out of 10 article, because he goes on to just rip off a bunch of tweets at the end. But this one is at least reasonable. People are having lots of fun coming up with examples of more ambitious crossover events than Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. Accurate. We've got a nice little TLDR here at the top that says, Twitter users are poking fun at an assertion that Marvel's Avengers Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event in history. An assertion. I don't know if anybody made this assertion, but, I mean, I guess you could say the original person was making that assertion that Marvel would suggest this. I don't know. This is like more acceptable, but it's still not good. People from CNN anchor Jack Tipper to actor Zach Braff have joined in on the fun. So now he's justifying that this is relevant in some way because people you may have heard of have participated in it. So it has, I guess when Zach Braff has done something, then it's now newsworthy. What was the last thing Zach Braff was in? What was he even famous for?
Who?
Zach Braff? Isn't he the guy from High School Musical?
No.
Who's Zach Braff?
Efron.
Who was Zach?
Wikipedia him.
Zach Braff. All right, let's see who Zach Braff is. Let's do some journalism. I see. What I did is I highlighted his name, and then I right-clicked and clicked search Google for this name. You can do that with memes too. You can just highlight it, right-click on it, and click search Google for this term, and then read the Know Your Meme article on it. And at the very least, understand that Marvel never said the thing. Oh, Zach Braff's the guy who was the main character in Scrubs. That's why I know him. So, okay, there you go. Zach Braff, who's been out of the media for so long, I had to Google him, even though I've watched all of Scrubs. Is Marvel's Avengers Infinity War the most ambitious crossover event in history? Not if you ask people on Twitter. So this is a clever way of doing it. He's asking it himself. He's just like, hey, is it the most ambitious crossover? Twitter doesn't think so. Neither does anybody. I don't know why I'm asking the question in the first place. But here we are. This is at least a way to spin it that isn't completely dishonest. But again, it just ends in pages and pages of people's tweets, a lot of which are already in the other articles. A lot of these people will just take the same ones, either because somebody with a lot of Twitter clout is the one who posted it, or they're just taking it out of the other articles wholesale, or, they just went to the top of the hashtag and grabbed the first 5 and they wrote their article around the same time. I don't know. Notion that Infinity War is most ambitious crossover event in history challenged by internet. This is from, The Hollywood Reporter, written by Ryan Parker. I forgot to read the name of the last guy, not that it matters. The anticipation for Marvel's upcoming Avengers Infinity War is at a boiling point, and with the second trailer released last week, it seems there is a notion out there that the latest franchise installment is the most ambitious crossover event in history. There is a notion out there. I guess that's fair enough to say the notion is out there. People seem to believe in it. Even if nobody actually put forth that notion, the notion is out there. So this might be the most accurate phrasing yet, although the anticipation for the upcoming movie reaching a boiling point is a little much. Don't think I've seen that much hype for the movie. In fact, this whole meme is kind of anti-hyping the movie. It's kind of making fun of the movie's hype. So before that hype even really got off the ground, like, this was the first real hype for the movie, and it's anti-hype for the movie. If anything, I would think this, I would be concerned about what this could do for the movie, whether this could deflate the hype around it. But in any case, he's just trying to make it sound really exciting. He just wants you to know that this is like, oh shit, everyone cares about this thing, so that's why this is relevant. That's why I have to make a video about it or a post about it, because it's super relevant to everybody right now. Basically, along with a quote wrongly attributed to Disney, Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event in history, social media users are posting some of their favorite hokey crossovers. So this guy actually put in the article that it is a fake quote. This is the only one that is journalistic so far. And in a way, this kind of justifies the article, because at least this guy is, like, helping people to understand that this isn't really something that they said. You know, like, he's attempting to curb the idea that is false, that is being perpetuated if you don't put it out. Like, if you make an article that doesn't point this out, you're kind of using the fact that the original tweets implied that it was real to your own advantage so that you can stoke the same hate fire that, you know, has made this thing grow so big in the first place, of people just wanting to rip on a major corporation. Fairly so, but, you know, like, in this case, they didn't actually do anything, or they didn't do the thing we're accusing them of, at the very least. So, yeah, this one's at least somewhat journalistic, but then it just copies a bunch of the exact same tweets as the other articles, so it still gets an F out of 10. Fucking stop it. Alright, I'm beating you over the head with the point now, but this is the funniest article about this. And this is the first result on Google. This was the first thing that came up. The Indian Express. Their article is the most incorrect, not just because of the information in it, but the writing of it is also humorously incorrect. This one is Avengers Infinity War the most ambitious crossover? Twitterati says no, with memes of other epic crossovers. As spoof videos of the Avengers Infinity War trailer are dominating the virtual world, people can't stop coming up with memes of their own historic crossover to challenge Marvel. Ever since Marvel Studios released the Avengers Infinity War trailer earlier last week, movie buffs and comic fans have lost their calm. They've lost their calm! This is an even more extreme version of what the other guy was doing with the boiling point. Because with boiling point, you're just like, oh, you know, people are excited in general. People are losing their calm, though. It makes it sound like people are being aggressive. And that makes people sound stupid. Like, when people are losing their calm, it sounds like they're like the fucking Szechuan sauce shit with Rick and Morty, where they blew that out of proportions as well so that they can make those people look really fucking stupid. That's what this guy's trying to do. It's like, people are losing their calm over this shit. It's just a movie, but people can't contain themselves. With the most of the biggest superhero characters coming together, the excitement around the film is unfathomable. Unfathomable. While many people are happy that the film included the cast of Black Panther, others were sad that Wonder Woman was left out. What? They're not even gonna... No, they're not about to say, like, oh, and those people are stupid because Wonder Woman can't be in a Marvel movie because she's a DC hero. No, that's just in there. That's just in there. First of all, who is sad that Wonder Woman was left out? Find me this idiot who was sad that Wonder Woman was left... Was it you? Because if it was you, you must not know what you're watching. You don't know shit about these goddamn movies you're talking about. Anyway, many such inferences have led to funny witticisms across social media platforms, and as memes and jokes highlighting famous characters flooded Twitter, many couldn't ignore the fact that it is the most iconic amalgamation of most of the Marvel movies. Iconic amalgamation of most of the Marvel movies. You'll notice that throughout this article, there's a lot of these, like, $10 words just slammed down at random, and I know people accuse me of that shit too, but I just think that way, and I think that I use the words appropriately. I don't know if I would refer to this as an iconic amalgamation. Like, amalgamation is a strange choice of word here. I mean, it kind of works, But it's a very strange choice of words. Also, many such inferences have led to funny witticisms. I mean, that actually doesn't make sense. I just kind of read over that without thinking about it. But inferences is not a word that works in that sentence. Recently, in an interview, Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor, revealed that Infinity War will have 76 characters, which is an insanely huge number. You know, you could fill like half a Suikoden cast with that number. Not just fans, but even Marvel Studios then went on to say how it is the greatest or the most ambitious crossover in history. So, not just fans, but even Marvel Studios. Source? Now you'll notice that up here, Thor saying that there were 76 characters does have a source link. But if you click the source link, it just leads to a previous article written by the website about Thor having said this, which doesn't have any source link. So the source is them. Then later you get one about spoof videos of the trailer, which also links to a previous article of theirs, which just has one video spoof of the trailer. Not just fans, but even Marvel Studios then went on to say how it is the greatest or the most ambitious crossover in history. Greatest or the most ambitious. So, you know, pick your... They said one of them. Probably. With characters from more than 20 movies coming together. As spoof videos of the trailer dominated the virtual world, people couldn't stop coming up with memes of their own historic crossovers. So they added in even more to it. They added in that they were also hyping the 20... This article is like hyping the movie itself. Like, they're writing more promo for this movie than for Marvel, like, while playing into this fucking meme. Challenging Marvel, social media users have started a battle to present their greatest crossover in history on the microblogging site, and it's simply amazing. What's more, celebrities, including Paris Hilton, took part in it by posting hilarious tweets. Paris Hilton's tweet just appears to be her and a couple of her friends in a car. Anyways, that was the funniest one I saw in these articles. So there you go. That's the reporting that's been done on this meme. Only a few of them actually pointed out that it is, in fact, just a meme and not actually a battle against Marvel. Although I don't know how many people posting the meme know that either. We are in a world where information is completely untrustworthy for the most part. I mean, even I didn't source this that far back. Like, you know, maybe Marvel did say it, and I just fucking couldn't find the article because I'm not a good enough journalist. I don't fucking know. But, like, as far as I know, the reality I'm living in is just the one where, you know, it was originally a Twitter meme. And then a bunch of fucking idiots tried to get clickbait articles out as fast as they possibly could about it. So, stop it.